This is Car Stories. I'm your host, Sabian Lara. This is a video documentary series I want to do over the car community in Lubbock, showing the passion that people have for their cars and how they ended up with them, why they love them, and where people come from. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Haley, and I drive a 1990 Mazda Miata.
I keep getting the password wrong. So, what was your first experience in the car community that you remember?
I think my first experience was with the Houston Miata Club. I don't remember what the actual first meet I went to was, but I remember this really big cruise we did. There was like 20 Miatas in there. It was crazy. It was all old guys. It was so much fun. And Houston has so many windy roads, and everyone, since they were like older, they were more experienced, and they were like taking care of me and making sure that I was comfortable going at the speeds they were going, and making sure I was comfortable going so fast around the tight turns and wouldn't lose control there.
That sounds like fun.
It was a lot of fun. I still have pictures from it. I think I posted it.
What sparked your passion about cars?
What?
What sparked your passion about cars? Did a certain person, a certain thing?
My brother, Tyler, he's always been into cars. His first car was a 350Z. And he told me that. But then he got a Roush. I don't remember what model. It was probably 2005. And then he did an engine swap on that one. I don't remember what he put in there, but I know he did it with a bunch of his friends because he worked at a mechanic for a while. And then now he has a No.1 of the same model, and that was pretty cool. But he's the one that got me into cars, because until I started getting into cars like that, I didn't really have a great taste in cars. I never really had a dream car until I found out about these. Originally, I wanted a Honda Civic Type R because they do still look cool, but it's a Civic.
What's wrong with the Civic?
It's not as cool.
Good point. Good point. So, tell me how you got your car. What all did you have to do to get it?
Well, so for my car, I was saving up for a year for it. That was a very painful process. A very painful process. It took a lot of self-control, because I got this for $5,000, which was honestly a really good deal for what I got it for. And I had never saved up for that much money before. The biggest thing before that I saved up for was an iPad, and that was only $700 from babysitting. And so for this, I was using my first actual jobs, my movie theater and HEB. And so that took a while. There was a lot of temptations with, I would see a car that I could afford at the time that was kind of near, but it was in terrible condition, and then sometimes it wouldn't be a Miata. One time I almost wanted to buy a Grom, or this one time there was a Porsche that was a very obvious scam post, but I didn't know. I'm glad I talked to my dad about it. But they were selling it for $5,000, and it was in perfect condition, and they said that they were keeping it in some military-based storage thing because they were out somewhere. I don't remember the exact story, but it was a very common scam, I guess. It should have been more obvious. because you're not gonna find a good condition Porsche for $5,000. But eventually, I did find one, obviously. But I had been, once I was getting closer to my goal of money to be saved up, I kept sending my dad different Miatas for him to look at because I wanted to make sure it was a good car. And then I sent him one, and it was, in the pictures it looked perfect condition, almost exactly like this one, and it was in Houston, and I don't know where I was at the time. I was either working or at my mom's house. I just know I couldn't go look at it. So my dad went with someone else. I think it was my little brother. And they went to look at it, and I ended up not getting that one. And because the seller didn't put in any updated pictures about the car, and so there was dents in like the side of it that weren't in the pictures, and so that kind of ruined it. And then I think only a little bit after that I found this one, and it was in Louisiana, almost to New Orleans, and so it was about a 6-hour drive, but I found it like the day it was posted. I saw it in school, I was looking at it, I got super excited, I sent it to my dad, and we were like talking about it, and I was talking to the guy, like asking when I could come see it, and originally we had planned to see it, I think it was on a Monday that I saw it, and then we were planning on going to see it that Thursday or that weekend. And so I was telling the guy that, and then he said that there was someone that was going to come look at it the next day, and so I told my dad that, and my dad, I guess he saw the potential that the car had, and so he decided that we would go either that night or the next night, and so we drove there, like me, him, my stepmom, and my stepsister, all 4 of us in his truck. That drive was terrible. It was so bouncy because his truck, he had just gotten his airbags, and I think it was only in the rear because he got them for towing stuff, like his boat. And so I guess he either had them aired up or down, either one, I don't know, but it made the ride so much more bumpy. Louisiana roads are terrible. I don't ever recommend driving there. But when we got there, and I saw the car, that was the most excited I have ever been about anything. And we had the cash and everything, and the guy was very firm about the price, so we didn't even try negotiating because we didn't want to lose the deal. But when we found it, it was listed for $5,000. It had 73,000 miles and no known problems to us at the time. So it was an amazing deal. The only issue that there was when we were test driving it was the turn signal was blinking like crazy, but that was about it. And even my dad was like surprised with how excited I was, especially when we were doing the test drive. That was so much fun. But then we bought it that night. And then on the drive home, we found out it was overheating because there was no coolant in it. Oh, we bought it in December. Either last year or the year before. The year before. That was 22, right? Yeah, December 2022. Like at the very end, I think. And so, I don't know how I was overheating because it was so cold. But it wasn't Lubbock cold, so I because it was also still humid and everything. But yeah, it was overheating because there was no coolant. Oh, and I was really frustrated, kind of, because the guy that we bought it from, he initially was going to give it to his daughter, but somehow she didn't want a Miata. I don't know why. That was weird. But then he was planning on turning it into a drift car. He was the second owner. The owner before was an older couple, so it was very well taken care of. So I'm glad he didn't turn it into a drift car. But he had the whole rear end for it, and a bunch of other stuff, like 2 different covers for it. I think 1 or 2. No, he had 2 covers because I still use one. The other one was dry rotted and I threw it away because it was disintegrating when I tried to take it off of the car. But we didn't end up taking the rear end for some reason, even though my dad had a whole pickup truck and he was going to give it to us for free. Oh, it also came with racing coilovers, which I didn't know. I thought they were the stock ones because they were just in the trunk. I should have kept those, but I sold them for like a good amount of money. I think $400.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I didn't know what condition they were in. I didn't know anything about them, so I just kind of sold them. And someone came and got them quick. I really wish my dad had brought the rear end because I could have sold that too.
Yeah, you could have made a little bit off of that one.
Yeah, like I could have made a decent amount off of that, or even used it.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me any information about it, but it's okay.
Seems like you got a lot of passion about your car.
Obviously. That's my baby right there.
It's your baby.
I love it so much.
What's your favorite thing about it? About your baby?
Everything.
Everything. Can you name a specific part?
Probably the pop-ups.
Every
I feel like
Miata.
that's everyone's favorite thing
Yeah.
about those cars.
It's a good thing to have.
Yeah. And then also the small size, because I like being able to fit into any parking spot no matter how I go into it. Even if I'm parked like all diagonal, I'll still completely fit into it. So cool. It was so cool seeing my car like just covered in snow, and because I'd never seen that much snow in Texas before. Because in Ohio, well, I used to live in Ohio, and obviously it snowed every year because that's a northern thing. But it's not a very Texas thing, especially for how much it snowed. That was crazy. But it was so awesome seeing my car. And it was so funny when it got stuck. I went like 5 feet and I couldn't move anymore.
Yeah, I don't think a Miata's made for the snow.
No.
Like one
Well,
bit.
some of them are.
Some of them.
Like the off-road ones.
The off-road ones.
Like a snowplow one.
What's your future plans with your car? Are you just gonna leave it like this?
Definitely not just gonna leave it like this. It's not much that I'm gonna do to it, but I still need to do. I have all of the lights right now, like the headlights, turn signals, taillights. Those are all from Carbon Miata, and I still need to get the side markers done, so that they're tinted and also LEDs, and then so it all matches. So I need to do that. And it's mostly just small things, honestly. I really need to get the engine details so there's not oil everywhere. Hopefully I'll eventually get it all fixed, but I doubt that. That's like an ongoing thing for every car. I do still want to get the Mishimoto radiator fans, but I just haven't had the money for that recently. It's so expensive. Like, even with the discount that I get, it's crazy. But really there's not much more. I do want to paint the wiper blades so that they're not all rusty and silver. They're supposed to be black. I do also plan on getting it wrapped. hopefully in January. I really hope so. Hopefully I can get time off for that. I'll have to figure out the bus schedule to get me to classes though. Going from my apartment, because he said it'll take like 3 days, and next semester I have classes on Fridays. Usually I don't.
Yeah.
So I'll probably just do it during the weekdays. It's because it'll interfere less with work.
Or there's always summer.
Yeah, but then I have to wait longer. I'm using the student loan refund card. Something I was also thinking about, something else with Carbon Miata. They sell the trunk lids with like the built-in duckbill spoiler. I was thinking of getting that because I like how the luggage rack looks, but I think it would also look really cool with that trunk.
Mm-hmm.
And of course wrap it to whatever color I'm getting. And then if I ever wanted to, I would still keep the old trunk and just exchange it or whatever. That's pretty much it. I don't want to do too much to this one.
Yeah, all about cosmetics. No
Yeah.
performance. No.
Well, for this one, I just want to keep it as classic as possible, but still make it look good. Like, look a little bit more modern.
Mm-hmm.
Probably get the wheels repainted. Because that brake fluid. I should have to get the Jason Special.
The Jason Special is wild.
Hopefully he can match the hubcap colors. Because he did those. He did really good on those.
Yeah, it's Jason.
Mm-hmm.
So what's gonna be your next car? Maybe a project car? Sounds about right.
Yeah. It's gonna be another NA Miata most likely. Well, no. My next car won't be the project. I'm gonna save that one for when I'm more financially stable and can afford to do it without going like paycheck to paycheck buying stuff. I think my next one will probably be whenever I graduate, for my graduation gift or whatever to myself. I want to go to a Mazda dealership and get a Miata, like one of the new ones, because I feel like that'd be pretty cool. Like, be able to get something fancy for myself. Because I've never gotten a new car. I've had this and then a hand-me-down, a family Honda Civic. And then before that, I had a $300 Chevy Equinox. That thing was so... it was something.
What happened to your Equinox?
A lot of things.
A lot of things. That's.
We don't talk about that.
If you say so.
I mean, the steering column only disconnected from the car.
So what kind of project Miata do you want to build?
Well, whenever I start it, I am mostly going to do cosmetics. But after the cosmetics, I'm going to do performance. I don't know what I'm going to put in it yet. Something fast, obviously. I was thinking of swapping it with an ND motor, because I think that's only been done once, if at all, and so I feel like that would be really cool. And so it's like a 2-liter engine rather than a 1.6 or 1.8, and they make a lot more, and they have superchargers. I'm definitely going to supercharge it because I like that. That was the worst one that I've ever done. But for the cosmetics, I have a very specific wide body in mind. Wide body kit. I don't remember the website name, unfortunately. It's been a while. But I want to wide body it. I want to get different wheels, probably like definitely lower it, and like bigger wheels, like push them out more so it fits better. It'd be weird if they were sunken in. And then I'm gonna paint it. I want to get like the entire car painted and not just the outside. Like, I want a professional paint job where it's like it looks like it's factory paint. I know it's gonna be expensive, and and everything, but it'll be worth it. It'll look more complete and professional. That is, I want that color to be, I think it's teal over black or something like that, so it'll look black, but in the sun it'll like shine blue, like on all the edges and everything. That'll look awesome. And then I'm gonna put a big wing on the back. It'll look really cool.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be so cool.
That's gonna be a fast car, I bet.
I sure hope so. It's gonna sound cool at least.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So now we're getting into the more funny questions, or not funny questions, but just random questions that I'm gonna ask. What's the funnest car you've ever been in?
The most fun car that I've been in. Well, for fun,
Like you just had a blast and you remember that car to this day.
honestly, I'm probably gonna say Bass's RAV4. That thing
Gosh.
was so cool. And even though I was super squished in the back, it was so cool. Like, I'd never seen one of those in person, let alone be inside of one. It was so cool.
That car was pretty fun, I won't lie. That car was pretty fun. Let's go to this next question here. We got, what's the fastest car you've ever driven?
The fastest car I've ever driven would probably be, well, the fastest one that would count would be my brother's Mustang, the No.1. That thing is so cool. I've driven it, like, what, twice? Yeah. The first time, well, no, not even just the first time. Both times I was really nervous because I've only ever driven, like, manual in this, and this has 0 power, but his has all the power. And so I'm not used to that. And so I was scared, but somehow I didn't stall it or anything. I'm really happy about that. But that, you can, like, feel the power even going, like, super slow. And it's so much different, too. American versus Japanese makes sense, though.
Yeah, that's true.
And a V8 inline 4, a few more cylinders.
Just 8, just 4 more, just 8 more.
10. But that thing was so much fun. I was, like, even just trying to get up to the speed limit was so, like, exhilarating because it was so much faster and, like, closer to when I was about to be done driving. Like, we were driving back to his house. I was, like, getting more excited about it, more comfortable. And it was, I definitely want to drive it again. Like, that was so much fun.
So I understand that you're in a car club. Can you tell me a little bit about them?
So I am technically in 2 car clubs. I wouldn't call one of them a club, probably more just a group. But when I started out in the car community, I started in the Houston Miata Club because that's aligned more with my interests. Miatas. They did a whole bunch of stuff. They do, like, fun runs, just driving around, like back roads, like windy roads. They go to dinner. They have monthly meetings. Like, they have monthly club meetings. They have a meeting called the last Wednesday of the month. They do those both every month, and it's just, they just go to a restaurant and hang out, eat dinner. And that was a lot of fun. It was a little weird because I was the youngest one there. When I was in it, I was only 18, and the rest of them were in, like, their, I think, minimum late 30s, and the rest were, like, older people. But then I wanted to stay in that club, but I had joined it at, like, the end of the summer before I came to Lubbock. and so I couldn't really do much, which was really disappointing, especially since they had a yearly fee. But it was only $25 for the year, so it could be worse. It has been worse. So when I came to Lubbock, I joined TR, Texas Royals, and they were fun. They were, some of them were very welcoming, and more of them were, like, they kept to themselves and the people they already knew, so I felt a little out of place. Some of them definitely tried making me feel more comfortable. I think there was like 4 or 5 of them out of, like, I don't know, the 50 of them that were in there at the time that I actually hung out with. I know one was Chris Nismo. Then there's the one with the black and red, I don't remember what it's called, like the FRS, whichever one he has. I don't remember his name, unfortunately, even though he's like one of my favorite people from that group because he's so friendly with me. I wish I remembered his name. And then there was a couple others. There's Sebastian. He's still really cool. But yeah, I ended up leaving because there was and still is a bunch of drama with that car club. And then I went to Mischief Mafia because Sebastian started that and asked me to join, and I was friends with Sebastian, so I was like, why not? Because I knew him, and so I wanted to be with someone I knew and not just a bunch of random people that I don't know. That went downhill fast with more drama, unfortunately. And I ended up leaving that. And then I stayed out of car clubs for a little bit. I mostly started hanging out with the Miatas of Lubbock a lot more because I would like to stick around Miatas. They're a lot more welcoming than other car clubs because we do have a lot more in common, and everyone in that club is like more closer to my age as well. There's a few older people, but even then, they're still really cool. So I get along with everyone. I still hang out with them. And I also now am currently in the Sundown Riders. I don't know how I feel about that one. There's a couple cool people that I talk to sometimes, but not very often. I don't think we'll stay in that one for very long. Just because nothing really happens. And I'm a lot more involved with the Miatas. They're like my main friend group here.
Sounds like you've been through a lot.
There's been moving to Lubbock, I have been exposed to a lot more things than I have ever been exposed to, like living with my family, because I'm out on my own, like no parents to tell me I can't go out. I tell myself what I can and can't do, and so I just do it. It's a whole different level of freedom that I never had before.
Just experiencing life is what it is.
Exactly. Like I'd never really done that before this. Like even moving to Texas was a big difference for me because I was a lot more sheltered when I was living in Ohio. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what cheating was until I moved to Texas. In second grade I found out. It was wild. Texas is a crazy place.
Yeah, us Texans are something else. So, last two questions before we end it off here. What's the one thing you've learned from being in the car community?
You gotta make sure you hang around the right people. Like, if you don't like someone or you feel like you get a bad feeling from them, you're probably right. Like, most of the time, like, sometimes you will be wrong, but that's with anyone. But most of the time, if you feel off about someone, it's probably right. Just trust your gut. Hang around people that you get along with, that you trust, people you have more similar interest with. And at least for the people that I've been around, they're more welcoming than I would think. Like, it's a lot more of a community than I would have expected. Like, it's awesome. Like, with the Miatas, we've done like a cookout. We hang out. Like, there was these few weeks that we just hung out every single day. Like, just because we wanted to, because we have similar cars and we like each other, so why not?
Just stick around with the right people and you'll do fine.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Just the next question. What's your favorite thing about the car community?
If you're around the right people, they will like support you with pretty much everything you do, as long as it's like obviously not bad. But like outside of the car community, I never really had that kind of, I guess, companionship and support from people. And like it's just so different from other people, and you all have that common interest, cars, and so you have something in common with each other, and you all want to do stuff with your cars, and so everyone can give each other ideas for what to do with their cars and tips and tricks. And I just love how helpful and welcoming and nice most people can be.
Just being nice and helpful can go a long way.
Like Jude.
Yeah. I did forget to ask one major question. Wind noise, I don't want that. What got you into Miatas? What made you decide to go with this car?
My brother. That's like a whole story in itself. I did like a class project on that. And it's not even like a big story either, but it's such a significant part. Like, it was like me and him, we were driving in his car. It was his birthday. We were driving to Texas Roadhouse. This was back when I still lived in Houston. He still lived in Houston. Nobody had started college yet, I don't think. And so we were going to Texas Roadhouse. It was just me and him in the car. No one else was in separate cars because there's so many of us. And I guess I had never heard of or seen Miatas before. And so and it was just like a passing thing. Like, he saw two of them stopped on the side of the road. I guess one was probably broken down. I think one was white, one was pink. And he was like, "Oh no, the Miatas." And I was like, "What's a Miata?" And he like pointed at the cars, and I think we talked about him for a little bit. And then that's just, ever since then, that like sparked my interest in them. Like, I've been obsessed with them ever since. And then also, when I had first started looking, I told him I wanted an automatic because that's all I really knew. And then he was like, "No, just get a manual." And I was like, "Okay." Like, that's such a big decision, and it was like he's such a big influence in my life. It's crazy.
Well, Haley, thank you for recounting your car stories. You did good. Thank you.